President Obama focuses on race while speaking at the memorial service for the 5 police officers who were ambushed and killed in Dallas last week. Let's take a look.
Race relations have improved dramatically in my lifetime. Those who deny it are dishonoring the struggles that helped us achieve that progress. But we know But America, we know that bias remains. We know it. Whether you are black or white or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or of Middle Eastern descent, we have all seen this bigotry in our own lives at some point. We've heard it at times in our own homes. If we're honest, perhaps we've heard prejudice in our own heads and felt it in our own hearts, although most of us do our best to guard against it and teach our children better. None of us is entirely innocent. No institution is entirely immune. And that includes our police departments. We know this.
Now, ahead of today's memorial, President Obama reportedly met with law enforcement groups at the White House yesterday. Now, the meeting produced this shocking headline from the Washington Post. Quote, Obama tells police, I'm your best hope for relations with communities of color. Really? Here with reaction. Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and the author of Liberalism, or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps. Former Super Bowl champion Burgess Owens is with us, also trial attorney and political commentator Eric Guster. Sheriff, let me begin with you. I want to start with numbers that are shocking, and that is, since Obama has been president, 3,470 murders have taken place in his home city. He has mentioned Chicago 9 times as President of the United States while those murders take place. Thousands more also killed. But he has been outspoken about Trayvon Martin. It would look like my son. That could have been me 35 years ago. Or what he said about Ferguson, or what he said about Freddie Gray in Baltimore, and all these other, or the Cambridge police acting stupidly. Why does the president weigh in without any facts or evidence, due process, on high-profile racial cases and ignore that many deaths in his hometown?
Well, because, Sean, it's his only default. It's his automatic default. He really can't engage in a conversation, a legitimate conversation about what's going on. And, you know, I heard in that thing that he did down in Dallas today, and I haven't heard the whole thing, but I heard the beginning of it. Then I heard what you played here. You know, he does this all the time. He goes and he says, race relations have improved. And I was saying to myself, here it comes, but, and sure as heck, about 2 sentences in, he goes to but, and he pivots and starts to lecture us about how we're all racist, we're all discriminatory, and then he talks about our police departments are, on and on and on and on. I'll tell you right now, Sean, if he's our best hope in improving relations between law enforcement agencies and the communities we're served, well, then we're finished.
Let me go to Eric Guster. Eric, one of the things that most appalls me is the president has embraced the Black Lives Matter movement. By the way, there was a Facebook post by Black Lives Matter in Texas, and they said they have no sympathy. These killer cops have been killing our black men and women every day and getting away with it. I have no sympathy whatsoever for those cops nor their families. You don't give a damn when it's our black men and women that they're slaughtering. Now, I want to play something for you, because the president invited Black Lives Matter representatives to the White House. This is the same group that has said this.
Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. 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 Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon.
And then after meeting at the White House with Black Lives Matter's representatives, this is the president praising that group that also had members chanting what you just heard.
Overall, what I am most encouraged by is the degree of focus and seriousness and constructiveness that exists, not only with existing civil rights organizations, but this new generation. They are some serious young people. I told them that they're much better organizers than I was when I was their age, and I'm confident that they're going to take America to new heights.
Is it appropriate to meet with a group that has members that chant that, or the Black Lives Matter Dallas chapter saying these things after the death of 5 officers?
President George Bush today said a quote that I'm going to give you to battle that. We judge other groups by their worst examples and ourselves by our best intentions. That's George Bush at today's moral.
What does that have to do with my question?
Oh, it has a lot to do with your question.
Hang on, let me go to you, Burgess, because this is an important question, yes. I think. Let's go to Obama talking about police over the years, and I ask you, why doesn't he talk about Chicago? Why does he always rush to judgment without any facts or due process in high-profile race cases and say things like this?
The Cambridge police acted stupidly. There is a long history in this country of African Americans and Latinos being stopped by law enforcement disproportionately. And that's just a fact. The African American community is also knowledgeable that there is a history of racial disparities in the application of our criminal laws. We have seen too many instances of what appears to be police officers interacting with individuals, primarily African American, often poor, in ways that raise troubling questions. Last year, African Americans were shot by police at more than twice the rate of whites. African Americans are arrested at twice the rate of whites. There's a big chunk of our fellow citizenry that feels as if, because of the color of their skin, they are not being treated the same.
Burgess, he was wrong on Trayvon Martin. He was wrong in Ferguson. He was wrong in Cambridge. He rushes to judgment without any due process. He says all of these things about cops all the time, and yet he's only spoken out 9 times about 3,470 people in Chicago killed while he's president. Why does he only go to the high-profile cases where he can advance this narrative that I would argue is a rush to judgment against police?
Well, I'll tell you, Sean, I think we need to, as a country, kind of set back a little bit and really do some reflection in terms of where the problem is. The old movie, The Wizard of Oz, when Tudo pulled back the curtains and found out that this wizard was not who they thought it was. If we're going to go back to where we are, the division we have right now, we have to go back to the original NAACP, 1910, the original founders. It's not a black organization. It's 21 white, socialist, wealthy, racist Democrats. And that was the beginning of, and by the way, this is a setting in which the Martin Luther King Sr.
Why does the president, before any facts are in, speak out on these cases, blame police, attack police, rush to judgment, and then he ignores a tragedy of 3,470? How could you, if you care about lives, why isn't he in Chicago every other weekend?
Well, it's the narrative that has now come forward. When I talk about the wizard, this narrative has been going on for 15 years. BET is known for this, and by the way, BET is not a black organization either. It's owned by Viacom, white, liberal Democrats.
I understand, but you're not answering my question. Sheriff Clark, can you answer that?
Well, President Obama uses jumping to conclusions as some sort of mental calisthenics. You know, like I said, it's what he does best. Some of these statistics that he cited, those have been debunked, all right? Cops do not shoot black males at 2 times the rate of whites. And as for arrest rates, when you include the participation in crime and in violence that black males are attributed to, that equals out why their numbers are higher in terms of arrest and imprisonment. So he's using faulty data. Again, what we want from the president, Sean, is we want him to calm the waters. But he's picked a side. He's picked the side of the criminal. He's picked the side of race hustlers and race demagogues. And this has been, in my 38 years in law enforcement, the most anti-police president I have ever seen.
Wow.